today. So I chose to do another video reflection. Once again, it's easier for me to do it this way. But I really enjoyed what we learned about this week with the undocumented immigrants, just because it's something that I am pretty uneducated on and just something I haven't been super interested in, even though I know that it's a huge problem, and that it goes on and like all the things that happen. I just choose not to educate myself on it, which sounds really bad. It's just not very interesting to me. Um, but I did enjoy reading the articles and watching the documentary. So, first, I'm going to talk about the article about Antonio, what isolation does to you, I think it's called. So, basically, Antonio is an undocumented immigrant who lives in New York, and he only, he stays pretty isolated, and he's a construction worker, and he tries to only use the subway to go back to and from work, but how it's always like just a big fear, with uh, law enforcement agents being there looking for undocumented immigrants. So he was on the train going to work, and someone had said that there was agents outside waiting to stop people, about undocumented immigrants, and so he kept on for a few more stops, and then he got off, and there were still agents there, and this was like the first time he had even like attempted to use the subway in a while, um, and how just basically this just got me thinking as I kept reading the article about how it just is so crazy to me that someone who's undocumented and is like working and doing like just what we do, um, can't even ride the subway, and it's something that we take for granted. Like my family goes to New York a lot. I have family from New York City, so I I've been going to New York since I was little, and the subway's always like one of the best, like one of my favorite things to do. It's just fun. Like I love to people watch, and I like talking to like all the random people that I meet, and it's just something that I take for granted, realizing that he needs to do this like for his life, like to get to where he needs to go, and it's something that could potentially get him in a lot of trouble and potentially deported. Um, and it's just crazy, but how, especially with the coronavirus, how I, even with like me trying to keep a job during this, and then someone like him who's an undocumented immigrant trying to keep a job during the coronavirus pandemic. Um, and so honestly, this article was pretty sad. It was talking about how he he didn't go out of his house much once the coronavirus pandemic started, and then he actually ended up passing away of the coronavirus. It's just crazy that they seriously have to like. There's so many things that go into being an undocumented immigrant that I didn't think about. Like I really don't know why I didn't think about them even going out in daily life and doing basic things like grocery shopping or going to the doctors or anything like that is like hard. Like I just totally didn't think about it, and it honestly just makes me sad. I don't know anything about like, you know, the economics of having undocumented immigrants or anything like that, or how that affects like, you know, the like other parts of the world or like the US like money wise, but like for human rights wise, it like upsets me that it has to be a problem. Like I think that, we have enough resources here that if we can, help them and like give them a better life, and they're have a job and they're doing like what we do, why it's a problem, it just makes me honestly kind of angry. But then I also enjoy the article. It was about how the US asylum system is broken, and I didn't realize that people who will like smuggle like undocumented immigrants like across the border make them pay like a crazy amount of money. Like I did not know that was a thing. I didn't know you had to pay, like they had to pay to get taken across the border, which I mean I get, because like both of them are like both parties are risking their lives technically, um, in the United States to get them here and give them a better place to be. But I didn't realize that you'd have to pay money, and how like expensive it is for one, and when they're already most likely in a place where they're not making a lot of money and their life is like not very good, making them pay that much money. But then the We Are Dreamers documentary was also really interesting. I briefly, I think in one of my classes last year, I'd heard about the DACA program, but I like how it went a little bit more into depth about it. Just kind of, they can, it's 2 years, I think they said. It's 2 years, and then if you're going to school and it can be renewed. Um, I just think it's wild that, even just to come to school, you can't, we, me, even like across states, like I kind of equate that to, like, I'm from Ohio and I'm coming to school in Kansas, and like nothing's wrong with that. And I get it's from a different country, but I just think it should be a whole different dynamic if they're educating themselves. Like, I don't see a problem with someone trying to get an education, but that DACA program is really cool, and how, it allows people to get an education. And the lady in the documentary was like, her best advice was stay in school. No one can take your education away from you, and it'll amount like later in life. So yeah, that's it. Thank you.